This is like the French Polynesia that we heard about, that we read about, that we saw in films.
Woo! Yep, that's Jin.
Made a big hammock out of fishing nets. Or a trampoline.
There's a shark over there.
And you left me in the water?
I'm not even kidding. Maybe going the whole way around the island has ended up being a bit of a brownie hike.
This definitely looks like some kind of booby trap. I'm a little bit scared to walk past it. How long do you think you could survive on that raft if you had to? I just don't know how else to show you how beautiful this place is. Last time on Red Seas, we sailed from the Marquesas Islands to the Tuamotus with 3 days of perfect conditions. We caught a wahoo and accidentally caught a bird as well, before arriving just in time to enter the narrow pass into the lagoon. Now we're ready to explore these beautiful atolls in French Polynesia. We're in an atoll called Raroia at the moment, which is basically right in the center of the Pacific Ocean. We are basically halfway between South America on one side and Australia on the other. And there's nobody here. It's amazing. We've got all these tiny little desert islands all to ourselves, so we thought we would drop the dinghy and go take a look. Well, this is crazy. We are so remote, so in the middle of nowhere, and this tiny little sandy desert island with palm trees and beautiful turquoise clear waters and like pink corally sand beach. Oh my goodness! This is like the French Polynesia that we heard about, that we read about, that we saw in films, and now it's like, oh my goodness, we're actually here. We're here, we live here. This is crazy.
Found the gin.
You're a proper pirate now.
Encore gin infused.
Have you tried it?
Well, there is some left. Woo! Yep, that's gin.
Can you pick me a coconut?
Yes.
Up you go. There you go. Oh. Thanks. So this looks like someone's actually made a little shelter that's like a bed on the ground. Nicely arranged coconuts to mark the edge of the resting area. Maybe we should do like a survivor show and stay a night here, see if we're still alive in the morning.
What, naked and afraid? You get naked, I'll get scared. So it's really hard to show this properly, but the current through these passes is insane. This whole atoll is kind of known to not be so bad. I think the current is like 5 knots at its peak, but you can see it rushing in. This looks like a river. And this is basically when the tide difference changes. So as the tide rises out in the sea, it wants to fill up the atoll, and then when the tide goes down, it starts to pull out. So we have to kind of time our entries into these atolls based on the tides, but actually we base it on another graph, which is to do with the current. So we want to get in or out of any atoll right between high and low tide, when the osmosis is at its best. I don't know what the term would be, but when basically there's no water trying to get in or trying to get out in a hurry. That's when we can move our boat safely in and out of these atolls. Okay, so Brioni says, I think it's about to rain. There's this big grey, nasty looking cloud coming in off the Pacific, and she runs off into the palm trees to say, I'm going to build a shelter.
I'm not entirely sure.
You're playing is what you're doing.
I'm making it look pretty. When we were in Marquesas for Heva at the festival, they had lots of palm trees all woven like that to make a wall. But I'm not sure if it's going to really stop the rain.
It looks a little bit useless.
That's like me. If it's only a little bit useless, then we're doing well. I don't know, give me a week and I'll have this absolutely sorted.
You'll have the Ritz ready and waiting for us. So if you'd like to make your booking for the Ritz-Carlton Cameron Hostel, standards may vary. And in terms of stars, how many stars do you want to give it?
Oh, at least 1.5.
1.5 stars. We'll see you there.
If it was bendy, we could turn it into a skirt. See? All the rage. Now it's a game of just dodging the rain clouds as they come overhead. So I think that one is moving south, so we're kind of making our way north up through all of these little islands. Hopefully, we don't need to rely on my survival skills on making a shelter, because I think that might take a while.
Dodging rain clouds from above and bombies from below.
Yeah, it's quite exciting here.
Well, that was a bit of a mission. These bombies and these currents are actually surprisingly tricky. So yeah, we managed to get Link sort of beached. It's not ideal. And we managed to get ourselves to an island, which apparently it's hatching season or something.
Nesting season, I think.
Nesting season for birds.
That's a thing.
That's the thing, yes.
I've also just seen something which I think I like, but it's also kind of creepy. And clearly, well, either there's like some cruiser has caught some fish and dried them out here, or like a very, very sophisticated bird.
Yes. I can do my Attenborough impersonation.
Go for it.
Here we see the feasting pattern of the brown booby. I definitely feel like this is the kind of place that you don't want to look up with your mouth open. Quite a scent, quite a smell, and an awful lot of white paint around.
Oh man, I just saw something really cool that I want to go try out, but I've just realized it's covered in bird poo, so I'm not going to touch that. Look at this. Somebody, or that very creative bird that I was talking about, has been like made a big hammock out of fishing nets. Or a trampoline. Do you think it's bouncy?
I think you should try it.
Oh, there's like a slack line.
I was trying to work out if it's something like that. Clearly, people hang out here.
Yeah, the circus is in town. Oh my goodness, the cutest thing, there's a baby chick. Look up here. Hello. Oh, you're so sweet. Do you want to learn to fly? It just looked at me. It's so cute. I shall call him Jorge.
Pecky.
I made a friend. Hi. I think I got his name wrong. I think he's called Peter.
So I think I've actually found the reason we came to this tiny particular island is right over here. And you've heard us probably reference this a few times, but on our Pacific crossing and probably a bunch of times on the way to Bonaire and stuff, we'll have used the term Kon Tiki.
The Kon Tiki was way out in the ocean. The Humboldt Current carried us north almost as far as the equator, after which we struck out straight across the Pacific.
It is a science experiment, basically, in the
1947?
That was very particular, yeah. 1947, a guy called Thor from Norway decided, he came up with this idea, which was all of the people of Polynesia came from South America. So he, against everybody else, he decided to build a raft out of balsa wood logs and like twine. And everyone was saying it was crazy and he should use steel wires and things, but he didn't. He built the whole thing. And it took them 101 days to get here using nothing but that raft. They had an amateur radio station on board, so they would broadcast where they were and what was happening. But basically, they got completely wiped out by big storms and things the whole way and just drifted in the current for 100 days. Kind of like our passage.
Yeah, that was like the thing that kept us going on our crossing. We were like, well, even though everything is breaking and we don't really have control of anything anymore, if Kon Tiki can do it, we can drift. As long as we're floating, we'll make it. And yeah, this is literally where they landed. That's so cool.
Almost to the day, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think within this week in 1947, they touched ground just over there. Actually, they ran aground.
Yes.
Another cool thing, if you haven't seen the documentaries or read about it or anything else, but basically they got close to an atoll and waved at people. We're like, hey, we can't stop, and carried on. And then they came here, and we have a bit of a running joke when it comes to landing the dinghy, that waves comes in sevens, because that's what they say, apparently. And they just start counting at any point. Doesn't matter if it's a big wave or a small wave. And that's what they did just out here on the Barrier Reef. They basically saw a big wave and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's go! And just completely trashed their raft. And all their gear and everything got trashed and destroyed. But this marks the spot.
The spot. Here they are. That's really cool. On this plaque here to like remember that this is where they landed, it says, "In memory of the pioneer of pioneers who dedicated his life to put off the outer limits of human discoveries over the limitless ocean."
So you should be saying that with like hands folded. You know,
I
remembering
know, right?
Pioneers of pioneers.
It sounds cool. Can we say that that's what we do? We dedicate our lives to put off the outer limits of human discoveries over the limitless ocean.
We definitely dedicate our lives to put something off. Put people off, bad tastes.
Aging. I'm never growing up.
Peter Pan!
And then people have also like hung these flags up. I don't know, it's like a in memory of loads of Norwegian flags and stuff. That's cool. I just can't believe that we're actually here. Like the story of Kon Tiki is one that we have watched in documentaries and films and read about.
Actually, can I say, watched and documented. We watched it before buying Indie. It was kind of like a don't look or listen, Brioni, and then I put it on and we had to kind of educate ourselves.
But that's the point. Like we watched it before boat life was ever a thing, and now to find ourselves actually here, I don't know. It's really cool. It's kind of coming full circle a little bit. Like we set out on a dream and here we are achieving it. It's very, very special. So our pilgrimage here is going to be that we're going to try and walk around the whole island. It's about 30 meters long. And we're going to see if we can circumnavigate by walking on the beach all the way around. Maybe even I won't get lost this time. This is the kind of brownie hike we should do all the time.
I don't know, there's
We're
a lot
just
of
going to circle and there's nowhere I could possibly go wrong.
spiky coral and currents. We're going to end up somewhere like Australia by accident.
What have you found?
An egg.
Oh, look! What are you going to name it?
They're not quills, right? They're that size.
They're Diddy.
Do you want a pet bird on the boat? I figure it will what's imprint on you.
Yeah,
You're
there you go. Well, you wait here until it hatches. We've learned our lesson from the last island, which was covered in little broken coral bits, which was quite sore to walk on, as beautiful as it looked. So yeah, we are wearing the flip-flops here, which is also good because everything's covered in bird poo. I'm not quite sure how it works, but this definitely looks like some kind of booby trap. I'm a little bit scared to walk past it. It's gonna like catch me and lift me up by the ankle and leave me dangling in the forest. No?
That's exactly what it'll do to you. That's how I would find you. Like, what did you do now? I'm sorry, I was just going for a walk. I met Peter, the bird.
Here's a really interesting dilemma. I just saw a plastic bottle and I was like, oh, that's not very nice. I'll pick it up and take it back with us so that, you know, cleaning up the beach as we go. When we were in Bonaire, we did a cleanup dive and we learned that if there was sea life growing on the trash, then actually you're better off leaving it there because it's like nature is reclaiming it and you don't want to take away an animal's home. And as I came over, I could see those little like goose barnacles growing on the top and then suddenly they all like fell off the bottle and I was like, whoa, that was weird. And it turns out that there are a couple of goose barnacles and some teeny tiny hermit crabs that are all trying to eat them. And I have the wrong lens on, so I'm sorry you can't really see it very well, but that's really cool. Look at these things, they're so tiny. Nice dedication to the shot right there. I was leaning really close down to the water to try and get a really cool shot of Iain walking out. And now my hair is all salty and has got sand in it. So that's how much I do for you guys. It's so weird, like hearing the noise of the reef and knowing that India is really not that far away. Like there's not many places where we would anchor this close to breaking waves and big scary rocks.
But at the same time, as you've seen, like that side, crazy big waves. Over where we are, it's like flat. It's perfect.
I know. Yeah, I love the contrast of being able to anchor somewhere really like calm and lovely and then have this like wild nature is right there.
Gee, there's some big waves coming in. I was just saying, it's kind of weird when you think about it that Kon Tiki came in on those waves, like big, scary, crashing waves. Admittedly, they didn't have much steering, but once they smashed to pieces there, they kind of scramble their way to this rocky shoreline, and they've got this tiny little speck of an island covered in seabirds, instead of going to the one that's completely covered in palm trees, and actually looks quite comfortable and has a nice sandy beach.
Yeah, but this one had a trampoline and the circus.
That's fair. maybe going a whole way around the island has ended up being a bit of a briny hike because I'm currently knee-deep in the surf. Anyway, the issue we do have now is that the sun is getting low in the sky and these bommies that are everywhere are really hard to see when the sun isn't up. So I think we're going to have to make a run for it back to Indy, who is about 6 islands that way. That's a weird phrase to say. But yeah, take on the currents again, get ourselves home safe, and then I think I'm going to watch Kon Tiki.
We moved up to the northern part of the atoll, and I think this might be literally the most beautiful place in the world. It's absolutely incredible. I just keep staring at the color of the water as it changes with the tide and everything. It's just amazing. So we wanted to take you out exploring on the paddleboards, but we pumped them up at night, and then in the daytime they expanded and one of them popped quite dramatically.
They exploded. Well, mine exploded pretty bad, so it's currently clamped up with bits of wood and GoPro clamps.
Yeah, we're trying to glue it back together, but I don't hold out a whole ton of hope. So we're going to go in the dinghy and yeah, see what there is to see. So navigating on the paddleboards is easier because they're so shallow, but with the dinghy we have to keep a really close eye out to make sure that we don't run into any of these bommies, because some of them come so close to the surface. And as long as the sun is out and shining through the water, you can just about see them at the last minute before you run aground.
Can you make it over, you reckon?
Possibly. Maybe not with the leg down. Oh, that's shallow. We bottomed out.
It's fine.
Well, we tried to get over the sandbar, but
so close.
now we've just parked Link ever so nicely.
Very delicately.
It was a very gentle slowing to a stop.
Yeah, we're completely stopped. But
If I get out, it'll lift the bow up and then you can paddle your way
I'm
in.
not allowed to say anything about that. Yes, dear.
There you go, you're floating again,
It
Bill.
actually is working.
Off you go.
There's a shark over there.
And you left me in the water?
I'm not even kidding. Little black tip.
I can see its fins. And apparently I'm now dinner. Yay!
He's only little.
It's only a baby one. It'll only take off a couple of toes.
Here he comes.
It's like, how do you... Woo, falling over. How do you walk at a pace to get out of the way of the shark without, encouraging it in to come and have a look? Hey, stop splashing! This is like when we were going up all those shallow rivers in Rio Chagres in Panama. You were punting us through the river, and I was just sitting back and relaxing and looking out for crocodiles.
And this time we're looking for sharks.
Yeah, I like this habit we're finding ourselves in.
You might.
Bit harder going the other way, isn't it?
So much harder. So we came out at golden hour, right? So it's later in the day and the sun is just low enough and straight in my eyes. Cannot see anything underwater now. So maybe we have to play back the video and work out where these bommies are. I know they're there.
Yeah, we just have to remember and hope. Cross our fingers. It'll be fine.
Sharks are not the risk here.
He says that. He wasn't the one who was left behind for the sharks to eat for dinner.
It was a small shark. It will only take a toe, maybe two.
We're just gliding into the beach. There, I can hear it. I can hear it. We're on the sand.
We're definitely grounded again.
Beautifully parked.
Parallel.
That's where we wanted to be, yeah. Bet you couldn't do that in a car anymore.
Ooh.
So we've got another historical site for you. We have found the literal, actual, original Kon Tiki raft.
It's smaller than I thought.
Do you think that's the size it was, or do you think it's just been worn down through erosion over the last 75
Obviously,
years?
yeah, erosion is an issue, natural factors, but that's ace. I wonder who put it here.
How long do you think you could survive on that raft if you had to?
Ooh. Week?
That's optimistic. I'm so so sorry. I just don't know how else to show you how beautiful this place is. It's absolutely stunning. I just feel like everyone talks about the atolls here in the Tuamotus and getting to the first one and it being so amazing that you end up staying there forever and not getting enough time to see the others. And now I totally see what they mean, because this is the first one we've been to and I am in love already. I just don't want to leave. If it was bendy, we could turn it into a skirt with a sash.
I believe your skirt is no longer really doing its function in certain parts.
There was a noise. There's an animal. We've been ambushed.